Welcome to this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on changing patterns of family life, looking at lone parent families. In recent years there has been an increase in the number of lone parent families in the UK. According to the Office for National Statistics, there were 3 million households that identified as lone parent households in 2015, and this was out of a total of 18 million households. This equated to 1 in 6, or 16.7% of households were classified as being lone parent. If we compare this to 1996, when there were 2.4 million households classified as lone parent out of 16.5 million, which was only 14.5%. This demonstrates that the number of families headed by one parent has increased over the last 20 years, having significantly increased in the preceding 20 years. And sociologists are interested in finding out why this is the case and what impact it might have on wider society. In this video we're going to examine some of the reasons for the increase in lone parent families, and some of those reasons are listed on the screen. Of course, lone parent families have increased because of the breakdown of marriages and relationships, and so some of these reasons can be presented for the increase in lone parent families. Firstly, the changing position of women in greater financial independence has led to a rise in lone parent families. A second reason is the change in attitudes towards relationships, and a third reason is the reduction of stigma attached to lone parenting in the 21st century. A final reason that is suggested is the increased financial support available from the state, although in recent years this has been reduced. Let's look at some of those reasons in more detail. As we've discussed in our video on divorce, 2/3 of divorce in the UK are petitioned for by women, demonstrating a change in attitudes towards remaining in a marriage that is not fulfilling their needs. With women being more likely to be awarded custody of children, the breakdown of relationships inevitably leads to more lone parent households that are usually headed by females. One of the reasons that women are able to petition for divorce is due to the increased financial independence of women. With over 75% of women employed and with higher status positions available for women, this has led to an increased confidence that women can achieve what they want from life without being reliant financially upon a partner, particularly one that does not satisfy their individual needs. Previous generations would not have been able to financially support themselves, but in contemporary society, women's improved financial position and increased status in society gives them the confidence that being a lone parent family is more beneficial than being in a dysfunctional or unhappy relationship. The increase in lone parent families can also be explained by the changing attitudes to relationships in contemporary society. For both males and females, expectations of relationships have changed, and this can be evidenced by looking at the work of Anthony Giddens and Zygmunt Bauman. Giddens' concept of confluent love suggests that people are no longer looking for lifelong relationships, but rather a partner that satisfies their needs at that moment in their lives, while Bauman's concept of liquid love suggests something similar. He suggests that individuals are constantly reflecting upon their needs for security and freedom, and this can explain why relationships become more fragile in contemporary society. Both of these concepts explain why people are more likely to end relationships and pursue other ones, which in terms of the family means there will be periods where that family will be headed by one parent only. This greater focus on individualism has meant that staying together for the sake of the children is less important than being happy and content for the individual. Another reason for the increase in lone parent households is the reduction of stigma, particularly for women, in being a single parent. As divorce has become more commonplace, attitudes to lone parenting have changed. Rather than being seen as a failure of a marriage or a partnership, lone parenting is now viewed as a choice made by individuals. This is in part due to the rise of feminism, with divorce being seen as a form of empowerment for women in leaving partners that were oppressive or did not consider their emotional needs. Increasingly, lone parents are celebrated for balancing the role of two parents at the same time, balancing work and child rearing without the need of support from a partner. It can also be argued that celebrity lifestyles have changed the views of lone parenting, with high-profile lone parents in the media demonstrating that this balance can be achieved, and lone parents can also have meaningful relationships with others. A final explanation for the increase in lone parenting is the financial support from the state. Although critics such as the New Right have cut support to lone parents in recent years, policies and initiatives such as working tax credits and 30 hours of free childcare for working parents have supported lone parents to work and look after their children. While other benefits such as income support may have been replaced with universal credit, it is quite simplistic to suggest that lone parents are unemployed, particularly given the increased percentage of women in employment in contemporary society. Many lone parents work and receive support only for childcare. A further initiative that helped lone parents was the creation of the Child Support Agency. Whilst controversial, the CSA sought to make sure non-resident parents paid for the upkeep of their biological children. However, the effectiveness of the agency was often criticised by both resident and non-resident parents. A final consideration in examining the rise of lone parents is the impact of this increase on wider society. Some traditional approaches, such as the New Right, have suggested that lone parents have failed to adequately socialise children, particularly males, and that this has led to a generation of idle young men that lack father figures. It can be argued, however, that this approach is a form of victim blaming in society, and does not take into account other factors such as deprivation and blocked opportunities for working class males. The increase in lone parent families has also impacted on a number of lone person households and reconstituted families, with life course theorists suggesting that lone parenting is often a stage people go through before forming a different form of household. Lone parents often come from couples and will go on to form other couples later in life. Lone parenting has also led to an increase in female role models for girls. With the majority of lone parent households being female, girls seeing their mothers balance work and childcare and aspiring to have careers of their own has an impact on their future prospects. Further impacts look at the relationships between the former partners. There's been an increase in co-parenting between former partners that prioritise the well-being of their child over their relationship. However, there is also the potential for conflict, and the impact that this will have not only on the former partners but also their children, with issues such as financial arrangements, access arrangements, and new partners being common sources of conflict for lone parent families. That concludes this Tutor to You Sociology topic video on changing patterns of family life, examining lone parent families. Thanks for watching.